Hello and welcome to Warcraft Reloaded, a podcast brought to you by Mash Those Buttons, covering World of Warcraft classics and its community. I'm Bobby, also known as Blazin' Bob, and today I'm joined by Mel, aka Melarina. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
Welcome, welcome. And returning to the show, TableSlam, new Hardcore Andy.
Oh yeah, big time.
And for the first time on the show, we have the man, the myth, the legend in Hardcore, Nom Hardcore. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. All right, guys, this is going to be an action-packed show. I'd like to start out by thanking our tank Patreons in Thick Lizzie, Croxford, Braxton, and Turtle Whale. Thank you guys so much. We stream live on Twitch, twitch.tv/BlazinBob. We're going to start out the show. We got one voicemail. We did get a letter, but I'm going to try and read it when we do our raid progression with Yip. But then we're going to talk about what we've been doing as of late in WoW Classic. Then we're going to move on to raid progression with Yip. Then after that, we're getting into the news. And after that, we're going to talk to Nom and get to know Nom Hardcore. And that's going to be the show this week, guys. So strap in and let's get going. Start with voicemails this week, guys. And you guys should be able to hear this.
Hey, Mel and Bob and Mel, whoever is the guest this week. Zunder here from Man Creek. I think I called in last week, but I didn't hear my voicemail on this one. Maybe it'll be on the next one. Maybe it got lost. I don't know. But I was listening to this week's show with Simon Eyes and heard you guys were struggling on Iron Council 25. My guild's in the same spot, and seems like if you have one tank die, that's normal. If the second tank dies, that's somewhat normal, but I don't know if you're able to actually kill him at that point. If a third tank dies, it seems like it's too much of a DPS check to get to that point. I think it's kind of set up in a way that it makes it feel like you're close, but really if you don't kill him before that second tank dies, it's just game over. We were trying it this week or last week. I don't even know at this point. There's so much rating, but we were in the same position where first tank would die, we're close, second tank would die, maybe we can still do it. And then I realized, yeah, guys, I don't know if this is possible with the tank dying a third time. I could be wrong, but I would assume if you can't do it after the second tank death, that's probably game over. Other than that, we've been, progging, got most hard modes down, got very close to Hodier. Maybe tomorrow or I guess today, Tuesday, we can get them down. We got 10 seconds off last week, so then we just need Mim, and that's about it. Then we can try Algalon. Anyway, have a good day. Hope you guys keep getting that prog in. See ya.
Thank you for the voicemail. If anybody wants to leave us one, you can call into 816-866-1066, and you can go to speakpipe.com/Warcraft Reloaded if you're overseas and can't make a call to the U.S. But thank you so much for calling in. As far as your voicemail from last week, I looked, excuse me, and I do have one, but it sounded like you had one before that because you said you got cut off and it didn't make a ton of sense. So I didn't play it. So I apologize for that you didn't get your voicemail read. Something must have happened, but thank you for writing in. And yeah, we're really close to the same prog you are. I don't want to give too many spoilers. I want to let Yip do his progression for us. So you'll hear that later on in the show. So, but yeah, we're real close to you, and I'll probably play this for Yip prior to us going live so that he can know what you asked to. But yeah, as far as the tank goes, though, I think Table can say it too. I think when the third tank dies, you're pretty much screwed, because anybody who doesn't know how the hard mode fight works, he heals a ton. So you have to have all,
and does more damage.
yeah, and does more damage each time anyone dies in the raid. So just like, not even just the tank, like after you kill that the medium-sized guy, nobody can die except the tank twice. Like, you know, it could be the same tank or two tanks, but yeah, it really just, I don't think you can beat the DPS check after that, because it's just like he's just one-shotting whoever he hits, and then that's like healing him for, I think he heals for 50%, but the Mortal Strike makes it 25%. You know, Table?
It's, I can't remember the exact number, but I know that it's enough of a big deal to like have to plan around it.
Yeah.
And like, if you don't have the proper planning in place, geez, that's a lot of P words, then it can turn ugly real fast.
Yeah, so, but we'll talk more with Yip about that later on in the show. Thank you for your voicemail, and guys, send more in. We had a ton last week, but not so many this week. But we appreciate it, any that we get. All right, guys, what have you been doing lately in WoW Classic? Who wants to go first? Mel?
I've just been raiding. I think I went out of town Friday and then raiding a lot.
A lot of raiding. And 2 different characters, 10 and 25 man. It's all I've been doing too. Although I've been doing dailies and stuff too. In getting those knocked out. So
those Argent Crusade dailies are a lot of gold.
yes.
I don't really need
they
gold.
are.
Wait, if you do any amount of any normal content, usually like on a regular basis, you just have gold anyway. And then if you do GDKPs on top of that, you're like set for the entire expansion.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, you don't really pay attention when you're in raid, but you get a lot of raw gold just in raid. It's actually nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't play the current game, right, Wrath? But I saw some jousting going on. Is that what these dailies are? Okay.
The new
some of the
That was on
dailies.
someone's stream, and I was like, it looked interesting.
It's
It's fun the first time.
Yeah, it's just not great.
Right.
Although I've gotten pretty good at it now. So like, it's kind of fun to challenge myself, like to beat all 3 guys that you have to challenge in the daily without healing my horse, you know, like stuff like that.
Great. The first time Bob and I did that daily, though, we didn't realize you were supposed to be on a horse. So we were trying to do it not on our horses. And it was the most ridiculous thing.
You're talking about the one where you go and kill the guys that are in Ice Crown. Yeah. We didn't know that you were supposed to be on a horse, and this elite was like impossible to kill, and he kept running off and coming back in and running off. And she's like, he's doing like the jousting thing. And then we read the quest, and we're like, oh,
that's why he's doing the jousting thing.
We got to get on a horse.
Got
okay. There's a little
All right, now that makes
spot.
sense.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that sounds like the next challenge, right? Like, do it without the horse.
I don't even think it was possible.
Yeah,
Like,
it wasn't giving us credit for the kills.
Yeah.
That's what actually
so,
made
like,
us finally
actually
look.
hard coded, not possible.
Yeah.
I was gonna say not possible or just very hard, but no, if it's coded that way, then yeah.
Yeah, well, I was on my tank, I think, when we were doing it. No, I was on my rogue. But yeah, it
I don't
was
know
a big
if, like,
thing.
you can do it, I think. Like, we got credit for the little guys that we had to kill. I just think it was like we were not prepared. We were like, this should not be this hard or take this long.
Yeah, well, we just couldn't catch him because he'd run off and then he'd run back.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
then
he'd come back, but he'd do it again.
it was weird. But yeah, that's just all we've been doing is just that. I did go to a fun GDKP last night in Nax and got to pump on my rogue. Hadn't done Nax since Ulduar came out. So that was kind of fun. But what have you guys been up to? Lots of hardcore, huh?
Oh yeah, lots of hardcore. I've been doing both though. I've been playing Wrath. Like my Wrath guild is the only hard mode that we don't have down is Algalon now. So we've been doing Algalon Prog on both 10 and 25. We haven't got them down in either one yet, but we got them to like, can't remember what percent it was in 10 man. We've got them to like 11% in 25. So we're getting there. We're getting through the first big bang pretty cleanly. So now it's just keeping it clean for the rest of the fight and like not panicking when phase 3 rolls around.
Yeah, I feel bad.
I thought phase 3 was supposed to be pretty easy. Is it not?
It is, but the ads, like it's easy if you have Death Knights to pop Army of the Dead to control the ads. But like it's when you're seeing phase 3 for the first time and the Death Knights don't know they're supposed to pop Army, then sometimes they pop it too early or sometimes they pop it for like a defensive or whatever. And then you don't have them available. So it's like, it was more of a lack of communication thing. Cause like, I don't know if we must not have expected to see phase 3 that night. So when we finally saw it, we were like, oh shit, cool. It's phase 3. And then nope.
Oh, wait.
The ads are killing the healers. Cool. Okay. It's a wipe.
Well, yeah, I've been doing Prog in 10 man I've only done it on my rogue, and seems like I feel bad because it seems like my job as a melee DPS is like easy peasy, like move to either side of the leg each time the what's it called drops, and
Cosmic Smash.
Yeah, Thames tells me to move, and so I just move to the other leg and I just DPS and then go in the black hole. Like I haven't had to soak as a sub rogue yet or anything, so like my job's been pretty easy. I feel bad for the people controlling the stars and the healers and the tanks. Like it seems like it's really on them to do everything, and I'm just there doing DPS, so kind of feel bad.
Of all the fights in Ulduar, of all things, Algalon is one of the melee friendly fights because the only thing we really do have to worry about is the Cosmic Smashes, whereas like the ranged and healers have to look out for like, where are the stars gonna collapse? Like, where are the black?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm running around like a crazy lady, right? And then I'm like, I'm like, okay, I need to get over there. It's kind of like Mimron hard mode, where that's the worst, right? But that's bad for everybody.
But at least if you take a fire damage, you're not like phased into a different realm.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, Mim is horrible for melee, but General Vezax is super easy for melee too. Like, you might be charged with doing kicks, but I mean, it's easy. So like, you just have to stand there basically and kick, and so that one's pretty easy too. But Mim, I think, is one of the worst for
that one is
melee.
Also very annoying for casters.
Yes. Yeah. Phase 3 Mim, I feel like I am worthless when I'm just running around doing everything. I'm like, I am getting to something, then there's fire and I have to leave, and I'm just like
just killing robots.
Yeah, I'm like, what should I prioritize? Oh my God. Yeah, it's horrible. But what about you, Nam? What have you been doing as of late? I hear you've changed factions.
Oh man.
All right, that's a long story. But yeah, we've been doing hardcore. These days that's all I've been doing. Getting ready for the big the big hardcore event coming up. It's an 11-week dungeon stretch, but I think we're gonna talk about that later. But yeah, I killed I died on a shaman last week, died on a druid, and I am doing horde for the first time. I'm an Alliance Andy, but we have a 48 rogue right now, undead. So yeah, we've been killing that. So it's been a ton of fun.
Oh man.
I was saying the other day, it's cool that you're getting to see the horde side of stuff because I'm like
is
a
it
lore
though?
Andy.
Is it cool?
I think it's cool because like I played both. I played both like the whole time, and like I like the story, I like the lore, and the horde story and lore is like also interesting. So it's cool that you're getting to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I had never created an undead like ever. I'd never quested through anything in Tristfall or through Brill or any of that stuff. So yeah, it's been fun to do. Plus, I'm a rogue main. I've leveled 6 Alliance rogues to 60. I got to do the poison quest was different, like the little cracker little parrot dude for the lock picking. Like that was neat too. So yeah, it's definitely a different experience playing on the other side. So
yeah, I don't even remember because it probably is a different quest for Thistle Tea too, huh?
Yeah, the Alliance one is definitely a little bit easier for lock picking. You just go to Red Ridge and you just open up some boxes. But yeah, on the horde, yeah, you gotta Yeah, you got this elite parrot that comes after you. I almost died. I didn't realize it was like a cracker. I had to feed him, so I wasn't used to that. But yeah, it's been nice experiencing the other side for sure.
What's the is it for Thistle Tea that you have to do the tower thing that like scares the crap out of you at hardcore? What do you get for that one? The tower in Westfall, where you have to like pick the key
that's
off
what gives
the guy?
you your poison. Yeah, that gives you the poisons and you get your Thistle Tea recipe as well. The horde one is a little bit more difficult. There's a tower like in the Barrens that you have to ascend and you have to kill, certain mobs with certain abilities. So on the Alliance, you don't have to kill the elite at the top. You can kind of sap them and
take off.
Pick blocks. Yeah, you gotta kill the guy on the horde. So
it's a good way to make you learn the toolkit easier, like when you're forced into it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And what's crazy is I had a lock back in real TBC. I re-rolled horde from Alliance because like all of my friends coming back to the game did too, and I played a rogue and I worked up a warlock, but I don't remember the lockpick quest or the poison quest. So
you would if you played it hardcore.
Yeah, it would. Oh man, yeah. So many people go to get those poisons in hardcore too early and just die right there. So many deaths right there. Whew.
Yeah, you definitely want to go like once you have Vanish, so at least you have a little bit of like a reprieve if things go wrong. Yeah, if you go at 20 or 21, yeah, it's definitely a lot more difficult. I do think they got rid of the poison quests in later expansions. I think you just
learn them.
So maybe you never had to do it.
I never had to do it.
They ended up removing the poison skill. Like you don't make poisons anymore. You just buy them from the vendor. So like they took the quest away. I used to main a rogue back in the day, so I remember.
Did that happen in TBC? I thought buying the poisons happened in Wrath. So I thought I still had to make poisons in TBC.
Yeah, it didn't happen until Wrath, so you could still. But like, there's a lot of things that like it's for druids too. Like you used to have to do a quest for all your different forms, and then now you just learn it from the trainer. The quests are still in the game. You can do them, but you don't have to anymore. So it's kind of the same thing with the rogue stuff.
Okay. Oh man, yeah. It's hard to keep it all straight, man. Like going back and forth and like.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I remember one of my hardcore deaths during TBC. I was level, I think 29 in the wetlands and doing that. Killing the undead pirate in the boat underwater.
Right.
And I thought I had drank an underwater potion, but I drank an agility pot.
Ooh.
So I was down there and he was about dead. And I'm like, oh, this is good. And then all of a sudden, and I'm like, you die so much quicker in vanilla than TBC underwater. Like you have forever to get out of the water once you start to drown in TBC and on. In vanilla, it happens like you get chunked like 30 or life dead. Like it's just like.
I never realized they changed that in subsequent expansions.
Yeah, I just did because I had leveled something in TBC recently, and I'd been doing underwater stuff, and then like, oh yeah, that was a rough death, and I was like an inch from getting out of the water as I died. Oof.
That's always how it works.
Yeah, that's about how it works. I died in hardcore and warlock, so by drowning. So.
I died to this is embarrassing. My first hardcore death ever was level 9, I think. Warlock. Maybe it was level 10. I don't know, but it was Princess.
Oh, a rite of passage.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
Feels a lot.
I didn't realize her ads would do the charge thing, and it was bad. I was like, oh, okay. It was horrible.
It happens to the best of us. I feel like drowning deaths, princess deaths, hogger deaths, Vagash deaths, like all a rite of passage.
Yeah.
My other.
If you play hardcore enough,
I've never died.
Skull
I've never
rock
died to
death.
hogger or to princess or to drowning. Okay.
Well, that's because you're the greatest hardcore player of all time, Mel.
No, Mel died in Stormwind. She killed my level 30-something duo lock in Stormwind. Someone was doing the an elite hardcore person was doing the Onyxia
Oh, I've heard this
quest
story.
chain. And
Huge ass.
and you guys were in the keep, and you
She-
just got
yep.
clapped.
she was like, something's going on here. I think I could just sneak by. And she snuck by to turn in the book quest. And she's walking out and cleaved. Boom. She takes the cleave damage. And she was like, I'm dead. And I was like, over in the other part of the game, I was like, what? How?
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
You hate
yeah.
to see it.
Yeah, it was rough. So many cool stories.
Okay.
Yeah, true. True.
And was that the last duo attempt, or was there a subsequent one?
No,
Oh,
the
no.
next one we died at 35. That was actually on F's and chat.
That was Bob's fault.
You
Yeah.
guys got the 60
We
though,
were
right? Eventually.
druid. Yeah, we were duo druid, I think, on that. Or druid priest, maybe. I don't know. I think it was druid priest. Tried duo druid, died at like 19. But yeah, then we finally did druid priest and did it 260. So she's done duo once. I've done solo once with the rogue. The rogue took me like 5 tries, though. I finally got there. I kept dying earlier and earlier. I was like, died at 35, died at 29, died at 19, died at 14, died at 7. And then I was like, okay, I need to buckle down here. Oh, yeah. Don't play hardcore when you're drinking, too. I don't think all of my deaths, except for the first one, I'd been drinking. So don't drink in hardcore, kids. Oh, all right. Well,
Couldn't ship it.
well, let's go ahead and move into.
Gather around the fire, everyone. I have a story to tell.
All right, we're here for this week's hard mode raid progression with Yip. How you doing, Yip?
Doing well. We did make some progress, spoilers, so that'll be fun to get into. Definitely can't complain.
Oh, you know what? I
Yeah.
was supposed to play you a voicemail before we started. I guess I could just play it now, I guess. It's just concerning progression. So
All right, let's hear it.
let's go ahead and start with that.
Hey, Mel and Bob and Mel, whoever's the guest this week. Zunder here from Man Creek. I think I called in last week, but I didn't hear my voicemail on this one. Maybe it'll be on the next one. Maybe it got lost. I don't know. But I was listening to this week's show with Simon Eyes and heard you guys were struggling on Iron Council 25. My guild's in the same spot, and seems like if you have one tank die, that's normal. If the second tank dies, that's somewhat normal, but I don't know if you're able to actually kill them at that point. If a third tank dies, it seems like it's too much of a DPS check to get to that point. I think it's kind of set up in a way that it makes it feel like you're close, but really if you don't kill them before that second tank dies, it's just game over. We were trying it this week, or last week, I don't even know at this point, there's so much rating, but we were in the same position where first tank would die, we're close, second tank would die, maybe we can still do it, and then I realized, like, yeah, guys, I don't know if this is possible with the tank dying a third time. I could be wrong, but I would assume if you can't do it after the second tank death, that's probably game over. Other than that, we've been, progging, got most hard modes down, got very close to Hodier. Maybe tomorrow, or I guess today, Tuesday, we can get them down. We got 10 seconds off last week, so then we just need Mim, and that's about it. Then we can try Algalon. Anyway, have a good day. Hope you guys keep getting that prog in. See ya.
Yep.
Yeah, we felt the same way, so
Mm-hmm.
we decided to just kill him before the second tank dies.
Yeah.
And that seemed to work out really well. That pretty much was I felt it on our first night of prog, that transitioning back into the tank that originally died, like I was struggling to get all my buffs, and it's hard to like get the cooldowns you need. You can definitely hold it for a while, but you just need to like be rolling the cooldowns immediately. I looked at my death log from when I took it this week for the third time, and he killed me in 1.8 seconds without a cooldown with 71k damage done. So, I mean, it's definitely tankable at that phase, but you should have the DPS if you use your runes well. You should have the DPS to kill him before your second tank dies at all. And I think that is like the ideal scenario. I think we maybe had like 10 extra seconds left on our kill. Like we had a pretty good amount of room. We did all of our like progging last week, and then this week was just kind of like the let's go actually finish it this time. For us, the hardest stuff was like rotating those statics to begin with and making sure that we like cleanly got into the third phase. And then I think like me just being more, I was thinking Steelbreaker, and I was like being careful to be like near the rune, and I just decided sometimes I would not be and forget it. Like I'm just gonna like pull far if there's a rune under him and stuff, so I don't get like Ardent Defender procced by accident. So just kind of being like more greedy there helped to make sure we got to the third phase like pretty easily. But this week we only had to pull him twice. The first time we just didn't have aim shot, so we didn't have a mortal strike, and because our hunter was had to be absent, and then we put on a mortal strike and then killed him. So I don't really have a ton more insight other than do as much damage as possible at the end. Obviously everyone needs to be saving their cooldowns for that heroism. You should relatively easily be able to get through both those tanks. I think like we never have a problem with 5 healers with like keeping Fab alive. I think I think having like we barely even call cooldowns. I think rotating, he uses his own cooldown when he pulls it, and then maybe there's like divine sacks that go out, but other than that, like that you can live during that time. If you can just plan for that second tank for him to die before that second tank dies, you're good to go.
Was I doing, I think for that second attempt,
yeah, you put on wounded.
Yeah, I put on wound,
and then it fell pretty easily then. But yeah, I mean, it definitely is hard, but I think once you're comfortably getting into phase 3 every time without losing anybody, it feels a lot better. I mean, you can't really battle res anyone in phase 3 anyway, but like having everyone have full buffs and their consumes and stuff on, it's just better if people don't die, and then everyone's like stacked in the rune.
Yeah, the rune placement was really good on that. Was it the second attempt that we did it?
Yeah, the second attempt. So first attempt, we probably would have done it if we had had a mortal strike, but then the second attempt, we had it with your mortal strike on. So
we had an issue with the orb, I think, the first attempt too, right? Or the people that were like supposed to be out and taking the spark in that phase. I think that there was some miscommunication there, so that didn't. But we got really close that first attempt.
Oh yeah. Well, I forgot that we changed up. Instead of having our healers stand out like they do in phase 2, we swapped to just having one person out in phase 3. Frankly, I don't know the mechanics. Maybe you only need one person out all the time. I don't know.
I think the only reason it's less beneficial in phase 2 is because I think they both benefit from the rune buff a lot more. Like the healers, it doesn't matter for us.
Yeah, so we were just having one person stand out, and then they would just swap with somebody if they got the static, and then they could go back into the rune. But it seemed to be plenty of damage. I mean, we don't have like an optimal comp. We have a ton of melee, so if like we were going to lose DPS at any time, it's in like holding it a little far away from the rune and stuff, and like we were able to do it pretty cleanly. So I really do think that instead of trying to figure out how you like survive that third time as a tank, you're probably better off figuring out how you eke out some more DPS on Steelbreaker. That definitely made it feel a lot easier for us to plan to kill it then.
Yeah, it's funny because so in my 10-man groups on Mondays, I tank that group, and it's my roughneck rejects group. I've named it, but we're getting better. We're doing some pretty cool things. Like we actually did hard modes, like quite a few of them. We did everything except for Vezix, Mim, XT. We did the rest. We did the rest of the hard modes, which was really cool because we really hadn't tackled much in my 10-man besides Thorum and what's her name? Freya, yeah. And so, yeah, I did that fight, and it was interesting, like just deciding where to move the big guy during the fight while everything's going on. But yeah, it was.
I feel like Iron
cool.
Council hard mode though on 10-man
Oh, it's so much easier.
is so different. Like I think we talked about last week, like the most different out of the hard mode in my.
We probably could have been doing it sooner, and then we just like didn't really realize. We have a problem where like our 10-mans, instead of our 10-mans doing hard modes, then we bring that learning into 25-man. We like prog on 25-man and then bring it into our 10-man. So like we weren't doing Iron Council for a while, but I think that Iron Council probably would have been doable sooner. You have so much leeway before like the first tank dies in 10-man, and then like I assume you can just still do it with that second tank, so you have a ton of leeway because you still need those 2 tanks. So it definitely feels a lot easier on 10-man, but there's still, you know, a lot of these fights are like healing intensive. They're still tough fights to get through.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then after XT, our only other goal, or XT, Iron Council, our only other goal was Hodier. We decided we'd give Hodier like a few wipes, which ended up being like full send to Hodier. Yeah, we're getting Hodier down.
Hey, wait, can we go back a second though? Because we didn't all die on XT hard mode this week, right?
True.
You know,
we killed XT.
With people still alive.
Normal style, yeah. Let me see. I know we wiped one time and then we killed it, which is a huge upgrade. Again, though, that's like a really healing intensive fight. Like it's pretty wild, and you can get people comboed out with gravity well or gravity bomb all the time. It's just pretty difficult, but it seemed like that the time we got it. I think people are just more aware. If you get super low, tossing out like a health stone on, or if you have personal cooldown, it makes like such a huge difference. You really only have to live through like 3 tantrums. So if you can survive the first 2 without losing anybody, then you're in like a really good spot where it's like, oh, we can lose people on this third one. Yeah. So it's like keeping as many people alive as long as possible makes XT a lot easier. But as far as like the timer goes, you're pretty good. It's really like the tantrums that will just wear you down.
Yeah, there was we didn't have any paladin in that 10-man group, so I was also really proud of that. That's why we couldn't do XT and Vezix. Like Vezix just on normal was kind of hard to get through. Like the last one came right before my shield wall came back up, which my shield wall is now, just a heads up, if you're ever wanting me to do something in our second 25-man, I've got the, I don't know why I didn't switch to it earlier, but I've got the thing that turns it from 60% damage reduction to 40, but now it's every 3 minutes.
Oh, okay. It's lower cooldown
rather than every 5.
Yeah.
So we can actually rotate it in.
Yeah, that's useful because it is nice to use. A lot of those cooldowns you do just need over and over again in these fights.
Yeah. But yeah, so like, not having the raid sack was definitely weird for us. But we did use so those drums that I told you about that are like kind of like a poor man's king's and the druid buff gift and the priest buff. Like for kings, it's 8% of all stats. I thought they were really expensive because it was like 130 gold for one, but one has 50 charges and it does your whole raid. So
yeah, that's a lot of charges.
In 10-mans, it was
Where
awesome.
are these from?
They're just
I think
from
inscription, right? And you
or leatherworking, maybe. They might be the new drums in leatherworking, but anybody can use them.
Oh, they're drums. Okay, yeah, they must be leatherworking then. But we had to bring fortitude. We didn't have a priest in our 10-man, so we brought fortitude in via drums, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean that's like
replace priests with drums. Come on now.
After like all your buffs, that's like 2,000 extra health. So to not have that is pretty wild. So it is nice that you can supply it to the raid still.
See, we're gonna get Valinir. Pally's gonna get Valinir, be able to shield people. Drums are gonna be able to give people fort. You guys are like trying to kick me out here on my priest.
Well, it's just crazy. There's so many things. Like I didn't know about the belt till I watched the
mechanical belt.
Yeah, the Mims skip, and then I just found out about the drums from Simonizes do better in Ulduar video, and I was just like, huh.
Yeah, the only thing it's a shame we didn't get to do is using the Mimron like mech spiders on Freya. People were bringing them in and fighting the boss with them. That would have been pretty fun.
Yep, it would have been good.
I would have been nervous though. Like that's when you do an exploit that like you should know you're not supposed to do. It's kind of like I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
But luckily, we didn't need any physical cooldowns or any defensive cooldowns for our other hard mode, and that's Hodier. We tried very, very hard to kill Hodier on the first night.
Yep.
I think we wiped 11 times on our Tuesday, which, by the way, is incredible because we had like a lot of time. We killed everything except for Hodier, and then went on Hodier. So we actually only had 2 bosses plus Hodier left from our Tuesday 2.5 hour raid, and we had time for 11 wipes on Hodier. So like if we have like Hodier down and Iron Council down, we can do everything except for Mim in like one night, basically hard mode. Like that's how quickly we're moving in there. So that's pretty exciting to see how much time we have for Prague.
We spent like an hour on Hodier.
Yeah. So an hour on Hodier. So we're definitely getting fast in there. We tried out a few different things for Hodier. One was just pulling like we normally do, which is like middle of the roomish, like close to the first icicle guy, but not like on top of him. And that was like fine. But in our first couple, we didn't get it. So we started bringing it over to the corner so that the mages would stack up, like your NPC friends would stack up better. But then the melee weren't getting any lights in melee anymore. So
and there was a struggle with the lights in range. Like they weren't spawning as much. It felt like, I think.
It was weird. So we ended up doing what a lot of people do. If you look at logs, they bring it to the side and then bring it back to the middle. So we did that a couple of times, and that seemed totally fine. But we just never really quite got there. On that first night, none of our attempts were like super good. We're probably at like the 10% ish. We need to get down 10% more health for us to feel good about it. We would usually call it with like some time left. Maybe some of those would have been closer, but it's so sketchy.
I was gonna say,
like 3%.
Do you think there was any that we called that we could have gotten it on? I don't know.
No, not really.
So that first time.
It's so tough because like you have heroism in like the middle of the fight, so it feels like you're killing him really fast. In the middle of the fight, you're like, whoa, look how fast his health's going down. And then suddenly it stops going down fast because there's no hero. Everyone's popped their cooldowns. So like it could have been possible, but you also just have to have enough room to just like say no. And
there was a couple where dots and everything kept going, like as we were trying to wipe, and like people just weren't dying as quickly, right? And
because there's no really quick easy wipe mechanic, and then the NPCs keep blowing him up during that time too, so like he is taking damage.
It's funny because I've been learning so much more about mechanics, like because I've been doing tanking and also like I've been like actually leading the 10-man on Mondays, and so learning so much more. There's still so much I don't know, and that fight was like so hard for me to like wrap my brain around all the buffs and everything. So it took a lot of watching videos and asking like Willie and Go different questions and stuff. But I remember like my role in raid has seemed to become like, well, is there a reason we don't do this? Like it literally, and I've just let like the smarter people be like, well, I guess not. Maybe we could just pull him to the middle, like stuff like that. But I'm just like, I'm not sure about myself, but I'm just trying to throw out random ideas, that might like spark, the big brains in our raid, of like, oh, you could do this, and sometimes they're like, no, that won't work because of this. I'm like, oh, okay. But
what we ended up doing was pull it to the middle and to the right on top of one of the mages, so that the melee could like always get it out very quickly so that fires could start coming out. I think our biggest problem was after the first freeze, we would sometimes lose our 25 stack of like the fire, the singed buff, which is really important for range damage, of course. So I think that pulling them just to the side like that cleared that up a little bit, I think. And then everyone was just super vigilant. We came back Thursday In our first pull, we were unbelievably close to accidentally pushing him. I think he ended, I don't know what percent, it might just be 1% that they push because they don't die. Thorum, like Freya and Hodier and stuff, Mimron, they don't die, so you don't have to get them to 0. We got them to 1.9% is what the log says, which is like really close.
Yeah, like
really close
almost a
to
whoops.
pushing him. And it takes, I was so nervous watching it because like everyone's dying one at a time as he smacks them. People like try to sit and stuff and just doesn't kill them enough. Yeah, and I was just like watching the NPCs like blast. It was so nerve wracking. Luckily he did not die though. So we did go in again. And then that second one, we beat it on time. Like we had plenty of time. It was actually insane. Actually, I don't know the kill time, Mel. Do you have it up?
Yeah, 152.
152. Normally you can go like 5 seconds after. So that was like almost a 15-second time the gap we had, and we dropped Singe at the end anyway, I think. But we were all like, it doesn't matter.
We did a really good job. Well, everybody except for Mel did a really good job of passing out Stormcloud, nice. Which was a big problem. Looking at our logs for the day before, looking at it with Go, well, a big problem was people were taking, like, you could drop all your stacks off in like 6 seconds, right? Like if you do it quick, you run to a person, drop it, run to a person. I have no idea. And like, yeah, well, because the tank can't, like, people are supposed to run into the tank if the tank has it. Tank calls it out, then the people just run in, grab it, and come back. But like in both of the first attempt and the attempt we killed, like they were both dropped off really, really well. Yeah. Like everybody, like you could see it because it's like a staircase, and it like the staircase is just going straight down, you know. So
let me defend myself here a little, okay, just slightly.
Right, let's hear it.
Because the first little gap of time you see where I did not drop off any, I could see that it was on me, and I was like next to people, and I was like, I don't understand what I'm not doing right. Why is it not transferring?
This probably was already on them because LZ got it too.
Then I realized those were the NPC people.
Oh, the NPC people.
So that's fine. Right. So then I moved. And then, then I think some people already had it on them because I was like moving. I'm like trying to heal because people are taking crazy damage, right? Okay, I'm trying to shield. Let's be real. But trying to shield people. And then I moved more and I finally got them off.
You did. I mean, you were like bad like we were on those attempts the night before. It was like, so I don't know if we got lucky and just everybody who got it knew what to do. So that might be something in the future we do have to keep grinding into people, because like you even see on mine, the attempt before, I hesitate just a smidge and then I sprint off and give it to everybody, and it's like perfect timing. But like I could have ran off even a second earlier, you know, like
that's one of those things that like the day break helps a lot, where people see the fight for a while and then they get that time to like, wait, how's that fight actually work again? Oh, like Stormcloud, what am I supposed to do with that now that I've like seen it happen to me and I don't know what I'm doing?
Yeah, talk it out.
What was that one fight where if you died you had to like do something, or like you got like in the like
Terran Gorefiend in Black Temple,
like didn't get it for like 40 months or something.
Yeah, and then you get it and you're like, oh god. I was like,
oh, okay, I was really prepared for this.
I was prepared for this for 3 weeks, and then like now I'm like,
I mean, the nice thing is I think we got to a point on that fight where like it didn't matter. First person or two messed it up, as long as like somebody could come kill them. We were just like healing through it and like killing it real fast. But yeah, I mean, there are mechanics like that where you just don't have to do anything, and suddenly 3 months later you're stuck with the mechanic.
Oh god.
Yeah, but we were able to get it down, which is pretty exciting, and it felt pretty replicable. Maybe it's just because we got lucky on our 2 attempts on Thursday, but it did on Thursday. Both attempts were really clean, so I'm not quite sure what to take from that. But we're doing so many hard modes now that people are going to be gearing up like really well now. Like we're only not doing them in Alkalon.
Easier.
Yeah,
like the more gear we get, that fight becomes even easier, I think.
Yeah. A lot of the fights just become so much more consistent and easy. The more of that hard mode gear that we're getting out. But it is interesting, there's something to be said. I don't know, maybe Mel knows better because she knows teacher stuff. But there's when I was playing drums, the thing that always helped me is you'd practice a part really, really hard for a while, and then you take a 30-minute break and you come back and you're just so much better than you were before. And I feel like WoW rating gets like that. You take that day break and come back and you're like, oh my God, this is so much easier.
Right.
It felt like this was impossible the other day, and now we're in here.
Against this so long.
That was like that for every musical instrument I played: trombone, piano, guitar,
Well, I think after you fail so many times, you just get really in your head, right? You start overthinking things a lot, and you don't react as naturally as you do maybe the next day when it's more plugged into your muscle memory, as opposed to you're sitting there and you're fighting your muscle memory when you're wiping over and over again, right?
Yeah, I know for me, I start making mistake. I'll focus to fix something and then make a mistake on something that normally goes well.
Yeah.
So on Steelbreaker, I think there's a couple times I popped Ardent Defender to missing the the dispel, just because I was so focused on moving him out of the rune that time, and then then you just feel all right, I'm officially regressing. I'm getting worse the more we go.
You do start to get that, and I feel our raid in general, right? The longer we wipe, it's okay, the first pull we did, we got him to 15%. We haven't gotten him past 40% in the last 6, right?
Iron Council is definitely the worst on that, because I feel our first pull or two, we were wow, I didn't think it'd be this easy. And then just wipe after wipe after wipe. Great. Thank you. My bad.
For some reason, Hodir didn't feel as bad, because I felt we were wiping ourselves, right? It's not
Hodir is just it just feels like a DPS, right? So we weren't hitting. I'm oh, we got to pull again. I'm whatever, let's send it.
I was super impressed. Shout out to what the heck's his new name? What's Mira's new name on the
Little
server? Cat? Dude, he did 21 or 23k damage as a feral druid. Oh, wait, was he playing Boomy?
He was playing Boomkin.
Okay, that makes so much more sense. I was blown away. I was like, damn.
Yeah,
he's
become a jack of all trades. I almost feel bad because he's a really good feral, but in our 10-man, for instance, he just played Boomkin most of the time, probably till Yogg, I think, because it's just it's just convenient to have that extra range. A lot of the fights
Jasmine Boomy too, right? We 4-healed it and Jasmine Boomy.
True for Hodir 25. Oh, good call. That's actually, you're right. That's another reason why I think it'll be a lot easier going forward. Is Jasmine, our healer who has no Boomkin gear, did 13k DPS. And that ended up, I think, really pushing it over the line of being do we have to call it or do we keep going? So definitely without that, it would have been harder to tell if it was a wipe or if we keep going. So having that 4 healer, and I think maybe even eventually down to 3 healers, I think would also smooth that out a lot more.
We got a good beam too early on for the melee, which was nice. It's still hard to stand in.
No melee beams was tough for us because we just don't know. We don't have enough range to just say forget the melee.
Right.
They can't make up for all the melee not getting it.
Yep. Yeah, but it was cool. 2 new hard modes down, and things are looking good. We're just like the caller, basically just Memoron left,
Yeah, we're right there. I hate to say I don't like Memoron, but I'm not thrilled for the prog that's gonna happen on Memoron.
It's just such a long fight.
I mean, I like Algalon because I know I have an hour and then we can all go home. But with how fast we're going through 25, man, we could legitimately spend a long time on Memoron if we want. And that kind of scares me.
And what I need to practice the most, what I'm the worst at, is phase 3 with all the ads. I just feel worthless. Trying to run to something, and I get blocked by fire. Then I'm trying to run to something else. I'm
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm excited because
everybody feels in phase 3.
We haven't had real 25-man attempts before. We jumped in a little bit, so it could end up going better. Because my problem is Wednesday raid is normally the jacked raid. That's where the pumpers go. Everyone is up, like they're just crushing it. Friday raid / Thursday raid / the Sunday raid, whenever I raid and make my group, it's usually like whoever signs up. So often we have like 2 ranged
Whoever
or
else.
like, yeah, and they're all
and
good
then
players.
whoever's left over.
Well, you know, it's not about like it's not about good players. It's about comp. But in 25 man, you don't have to worry about that as much. You're not going to be like, oh, we don't have any healers, or oh, we don't have enough range DPS to make this easy
today.
Yep.
Yeah. You have a lot better of a comp that's going in, so it'll be fun. But we shall see how it goes. I'm excited to get everything down, but that's definitely a big hurdle left for us.
Yep.
Yeah, Memron I think is going to be. I think it'll be our longest progression. I feel like just considering how long it took in 10 man, I know there's certain aspects that'll be easier. There's also certain aspects that'll be harder, I think, because of the flames and the chaos and
it's utter mayhem. It's just
yeah,
it's utter mayhem fight.
There's never an easy Memron, I feel like. It's not like, oh, this went perfectly. It's like, no, we survived well enough to get to this next phase.
I hope in 2 weeks from now, we will be laughing about that, being like, I can't believe we thought we couldn't prog on this fight. Like, it's so easy now. What were we thinking?
We're going to stop doing raid progress if we wipe on Memron for 3 weeks in a row. Be like, okay, never mind. We're done. We have nothing good to tell you, apparently.
Yeah, we actually decided to stop progging. We're an Algalon, no Algalon guild.
We just decided it wasn't for us. What about Algalon?
Speaking of Big Al, let's talk about Big Al a little bit.
Who was in there? Not me.
You guys haven't done it?
You did it with me last week. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we're struggling on Algalon. Were you in that one on Wednesday, Bob?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
you guys were switching to one tank, right? That's a pretty big difference.
No, we didn't.
We didn't.
What?
No. We tried a few different things.
Listen, Fab was like, "No, we don't know how to do that. We're not
what the
prepared
hell?
for that."
I wanted you guys to learn for us so we could do it tonight.
Yeah, well, they decided not to. But then there was a couple things. We tried to 2 tank 3 heal, and then we tried 2 tank 2 heal because we thought maybe the extra damage, and it actually went fine. I think it was just the sustain that we were worried about with 2 healers. I don't think we were bringing enough damage that we were going to kill quickly enough for the 2 healer.
I will say I've seen a log in 25 man of a paladin solo healing, so I don't know what they did or what they were on, but
I'm sure
I'm holding you guys to a high bar.
Doable if you have a lot of DPS doing a lot of really great things, okay?
Yeah, they must be pumping in there.
I feel really bad as a melee DPS because literally, pretty sure I got my job. Like, my job's pretty dang easy. I stand on a leg, I DPS, I move to another leg when when Thames says, keep moving or whatever. I just move to the other leg and then I move back and forth. And like, I feel like that's a real like tank and healer fight. And like, so I just have to keep doing my thing, letting them learn, and like it's rough on you guys. Then whoever's handling sparks and stuff too.
Because it's definitely not just moving from leg to leg, okay? It's trying to shield everybody, trying to look at these little spark things that are about to explode, and I can't be too close when they explode, but if I move too far to one side, I can't heal these other people that are over here that are about to get exploded, and then it like has a black hole. So then when I'm moving all throughout the fight trying to get away from these other sparks, I have to make sure I don't run into this stupid black hole that's now in the ground, right? It's a mayhem.
As a tank, it's like, I don't know if it's hard or not, but I take a ton of damage. So that's like, somebody heal me. It's a ton of damage. And then, I mean, there's really no like hard part per se. It's just that I think someone just dies normally. It's been a minute. Normally we're having issues with our off tank dying, which is why we're looking into that solo tanking, because we're running these like unoptimal, like we're just trying to get as many people raiding in 10 man to get their gear as possible. our off tanks are not like main tanks. They're DPS who are off tanking for us, and their gear, I don't know if it's their gear or their class or what, but like they definitely get smashed sometimes.
Yeah.
Mira especially. I think druid tanks are typically not used on Algalon off tanking, so I think we learned that pretty quickly.
That one was rough. I think Mira was the hardest. We had DK. We had a DK, so
DK I think is probably better, but then again, like I'm getting smacked pretty hard, and I'm in is almost as good gear as we can have as a tank. Yeah. So it's definitely going to be tough, but I mean, it's all about the attitude. You have 1 hour to go in Prague. As long as you don't care that much, just say, hey.
I was more annoyed by how long it took us to like get reset to like have the next pull. I was like, okay. I'd like shield and like prayer of mending fab and be like,
I felt really bad because Castimo went down and then sitting there waiting for him to res, and it was a few minutes. I was like, Cass, I have to go to the bathroom too, but I'm not. I'm waiting till our prog is done. And then he came back and he had thrown up, and I was like, oh, sorry, man.
Yeah, next to your computer, Cass. Come on.
That's fair. I mean, it's tough. You only have that hour. What did you guys get them down to? I think you guys got a new record for us.
I forget.
I heard like 36%.
Yeah, 37. It was 37, but I think logs showed
logs
37%.
Logs showed it correctly. Our DBM thing showed it incorrectly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was 37%, and that like round felt really good. I feel like every week we go in there with an hour, I do feel like I start to understand the mechanics better, right? So one thing that helped us a lot was I know Hardcore had like posted the video and like explained the stars a lot better to us. And I think that helped us the week before. And this week, I feel like the whole team kind of better understood like the star timing and the killing order and how to, split the damage. And we had a lot of trouble, like 4 or 5 pulls where the first star wasn't dying quick enough. And so we'd get like the AoE, and then we'd get a star AoE, and then the next star would die like right after that. It was like, okay.
Well, I also like, it's kind of nice because you get to do so many openers. Like it really was a lot of good improvement for myself on just my opener. But I found out why I've been getting clapped every once in a while on openers.
Oh, why is that?
So I had it originally one tricks macro that was that was just for everything, and it had the cancel aura in there. And I changed it to my tank one, and so it's just tank. So it's all your guys' names, and then I comment out whoever is not the tank, and then my other one to give to DPS is a focus one, right? And that has the cancel aura too. I forgot I never took the cancel aura out of the tank one, so if I screwed up and pressed that button twice, it means that I just turned off the aggro transfer, and then boom, I'm just like, I hit that, I hit a really good opener and I'm taking aggro, like just because of
I would say 50%
spree.
of the time it's that, and then 50% of the time it's me not having Righteous Fury on and lying about it. Whoa, crazy what just happened.
Yeah. What are you doing here? Why are you taking aggro so quickly? I absolutely
have said that as I'm putting on Righteous Fury. Like, what are you guys doing? It's just like,
get it together over there.
Sometimes as a tank, you just don't want it to be your fault. Sometimes you just choose not to.
I mean, there was a time in I think our alt 25 man where we were like, who pulled Mem? Oh no. That was not me, because
wait, was it you?
Okay, no, it wasn't Mem. It was Colgaron, and it was fine.
So someone did our first 25-man hard mode Mem. Someone did push that button, and I'm wondering who it was.
I still don't know who that was.
Yeah,
like somebody was like, "Stop talking, Hardcore." They just pressed the button. Oh man! If I had to guess, I'm saying Kim.
Yeah,
he's always the one that like, can we just pull? I'm tired of talking about this.
It was our weekend raid. Is that what you said?
No, it was our weekday raid.
Raid
When we tried Member on the one time.
Mem. Yeah, someone while Hearthscare was explaining is push the button. I mean, how can you resist? It's a big red button.
Right? It shouldn't have a stack up there.
Oh man, yeah, but things are going good. Like, and like, you know, just like people should not get frustrated about Algalon. Like, I hear these people coming in, like they'll come into my chat too and be like, "Is this a pug group?" And I'm like, "Dude, you know we're not as bad as a pug group.
No, we just suck."
Like,
Yeah.
it's just like
As
there's a ton of
healers.
people that don't have it down. There's a ton of people who haven't even seen Algalon. Like, you guys are just watching YouTubers that, you know, are in the best guilds that spent a ton of time on PTR and have people that have played private servers forever. Like, it's going to be different for you.
We're basically measuring up how we normally do. We're like in the 200ths, like we're purple parsing our server, which is, I'm happy with that progress. Like I like getting good. It is hard enough that I don't feel bad that it's taking us this long. We only have 5 hours a week, and honestly, we kind of like fart around, and it's fine. We have fun.
We're having a good
enjoy
time,
ourselves.
and all those YouTubers and big guild guys are bored now because they you know, like tired themselves out and burnt themselves out doing all the stuff. Like, you have seen I'm trying to watch content for WoW Classic, and the YouTubers are just like on hiatus. Like, they're just like, I can't make any more videos.
There's nothing out right now.
Right. What is everybody doing?
So I don't know. I think we're doing it
8,000
the
raids a
cool
week.
way. Yeah, and I think we're
I
pretty
definitely
good.
don't mind. Yeah, I mean, we definitely had no plans on brushing to Algalon and trying to get it down as quickly as possible. Like, to us, like getting a new hard mode down 1 or 2 every week, and then being in a place where we can get them down consistently is more important. So it's more fun to go in and bang through something than like,
right.
I don't know. We've got like no guild turnover. We got no loot problems. We're in a good spot.
Yep.
And we're making weekly progress. Cannot complain.
There we
at all.
go.
Yep. And it's just like, you could, like, guys at home, please don't fall into the trap. Like, I fell into the trap Sunwell. Like, I watched everybody that comes on the show doing all this stuff, and like I took it out on my raid and like was just a horrible person. So like, just check yourself. Like, if you guys are getting hard modes down, you're better than the majority are doing right now. So enjoy it, because, you know, it's not going to last forever. So just have a good time and like, don't have expectations and just see what happens. It's been a good time for me.
Honestly, if you get frustrated by Prague, which is like fine if you do get a little frustrated, but the game ends up actually not being fun because maybe you don't realize this, but you have a cycle of like utter frustration at people that you play the game with while you prog, and then it's easy, so you're bored, and then the next tier comes out and you're excited, and then you're mad at everyone and you hate your life because you're progging. It's like there's no point. You'll never have fun. If you hate Prague, you'll never have fun because Prague just keeps coming out over and over again.
Agreed.
But that is where we're at.
Yeah. Anything else before we close it out here on Raid Prague? All right. Well, yep. Tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter or YouTube at The Yip Show. Dark and Darker next playtest is April 14th. I'll be a full-time streamer at that point.
And streaming on YouTube, right? Not on Twitch?
We'll see.
Because I saw you streamed some on YouTube.
Yeah, I think so, but you never know. I'm gonna get a new computer by then. It's gonna be sick. We're gonna be.
Hey.
Nice.
We'll be rocking out.
Nice. All right. Well, we'll see you guys. We're gonna send you back to the regular show. Bye.
Bye.
Time for the news. All right, not a ton of news this week. They did a change to bloodlust. So now in a raid, if you're outside of the range of the shaman to get bloodlust, you will not get sated. When before everybody got it, no matter if they got bloodlust or not. So it's an interesting change. I think it could allow groups to maybe bloodlust certain DPS early in the fight and then save like, was it warlocks and mages that have like the execute phase, save bloodlust for them in the execute phase.
Yeah, it'll specifically help on Yogg, I think, because Yogg was the one that we were seeing this happen more frequently, where you would lust either down in the brain room or up top, and if you weren't in the exact right spot, half the people, either the top people or the bottom people, would get the debuff but wouldn't get lust.
Yeah, that happened to us a couple times too. Frustrating, but I mean, it's good that they fixed it.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because it's a good fix, but also it proves that like they know how to fix stuff like that. So if something like that pops up in other fights, then it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's
think about like gunship and ICC.
And I don't remember that. I didn't do I quit towards the end of TOC. Like I was kind of fed up with a lot of stuff at that point.
Oh man, you stopped right before it got really good.
Yeah, well, I mean, but back in the day, like in the top guilds, I mean, it was an 8-hour a day, 5 to 6 days a week job, you know, like you would burn out so much faster. So now, luckily, you know, that's why I love it now, is because like you can do all this stuff and not have to play 24/7. I do play 24/7, but I do other stuff. I don't just prog, you know.
I don't have to.
Yeah, I do other stuff in the game, whereas before I spent all my time literally in raid prog. Oh, all right, well, that's that news. And then the other bit of news is gems. Now the blue gems are available for emblems of heroism, and 10 emblems per. So if people hadn't been spending their emblems, like, you could get so many gems now. And we saw on, I don't know how it is on other servers, but literally the next day after this change happened on Benediction, the Scarlet Rubies went from 150 gold a piece to 50. I haven't checked. They might even be like lower now. It's absolutely insane how much they just dropped overnight. So if you were sitting on those, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, they turbo.
What if you're like me and you just have like 1 trillion emblems of heroism that you've never used? It'd be great.
Yeah. Did you buy any and sell any?
No.
I mean, it'd still be, you have 100 emblems by 10 gems. I mean, that's still 500 gold. Boom, right there.
As somebody who's going to be swapping all of my red gems to armor pen gems pretty soon, I'm very happy about this change.
Yeah, that's huge. And it'll allow me to test, because I'll be doing that again at some point to test. So now I've got all this gear with gem slots too. So I've got all kinds of spots from gems to go. So I'll be trying that again soon too, just for fun on the combat rogue. But yeah, those are the two pieces of news. The next thing, I'm going to play a video here, and for audio listeners, you'll be able to hear it also. Let's get that up so I can do that. I told my guests that they were going to be able to hear it, but now I realize it's in a different application, so you're probably not going to be able to hear it. So I'll let you know when it's done. Sorry about that. All right.
Introducing a new league for WoW Classic. One life, where death equals delete. Welcome to Hardcore Allstars, Season 1. Participate in 10 live events for $5,000 in prizes, with 2 ways to compete. Rally your friends for the first Hardcore World Tour. Compete as a team and survive 4 punishing dungeon circuits. Make it to level 60 to enter the final showdown. or compete solo in dungeon drafts. Make a fresh character. Enter a draft. Be the first to clear the dungeon. And claim victory. The action starts on February 25th, 2023. Click the pinned comment and sign up today. Hardcore Allstars.
All right. So that is Cargos's video there. If you're wanting the link to that video will be in the show notes or in the YouTube description. You can just go to that YouTube, and then the sign up is there. So I'm gonna force you guys to give him a view on it to him sign up. So check it out, guys. I've got these two experts here to kind of go over the event. They're both going to be competing in some of the stuff, but which one of you wants to take it away and let us know what this event's all about?
Yeah, I can start. So there's two different kinds of events. So there's ones that are just single day events. So like at the moment right now we have a Dead Mines event. So you basically have 6 hours to level. You basically get in front of the meeting stone. There's a draft. Teams are formed. First person to finish, right? Like wins. Then the World Tour event is you're participating in that TableSlam as well?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the big one that I'm excited about personally. The goal is you level solo to 60, and intermittently you have circuits to run. So the first circuit is you get to 22 and a half. You basically have a set team, and the 5 of you have to run 4 dungeons back to back to back to back. So you have to run Wailing Caverns, Dead Mines, SFK, and BFD. And SFK and BFD, the final bosses, are going to be pretty much red to you. And the goal is to complete those. There's a score component based on the amount of deaths you have and the time it takes to complete. And it's just cumulative, right? So then you have like the next circuit, and the final circuit involves doing like a 5-man LBRS, BRD. So some really tough dungeons, obviously with, just you and your hardcore homies. So that's kind of the gist of it.
That's cool. And you could have 6 people on the team, right? Like one alternate.
Correct. Yeah, I figured TableSlam could go through some of the specifics. Yeah, so you can have one backup, and then you have to predetermine what you want your professions to be. So you're not allowed to constantly swap professions. So when you sign up as a team, you have to decide whether you're going to be, an alchemist or an engineer, and you're not allowed to swap during the process. So
interesting. Okay. Yeah. Table, would you like to give us some of the specifics?
Yeah, sure. So so again, the 6th player on the team, it's basically in the case of like if somebody dies, you can have somebody swap in. Your team isn't dead completely just because you lost one player. Or also you can swap a player in for the next dungeon or whatever, but they have to, if you swap a player, they have to do the next dungeon with you. They have to complete the dungeon with you. So for things like warlocks and stuff like that, for summoning, you can't just have a lock on the team just to summon you to the next dungeon. Like if you're going to swap them into the party, they have to run the next thing with you. And then speaking of deaths, if a player on the team dies, you can level another of the same thing that you were playing, but crucially, you cannot run any of the dungeons that the team has run previously. Like normally in hardcore, you can run every dungeon once per character, but for the All-Stars event, it's once per player. So that's to prevent things like if somebody wants to run, Dead Mines again to see if they can get a Smite's Hammer or whatever, because they didn't see one drop the first time around. They can't purposely kill their character to level another one to get another shot at Smite's Hammer. Like, nope, once you run it once with the team, that's it. You're done for that
makes
dungeon.
Complete sense, because the sweaties would definitely do that, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, especially if you level fast. Yeah, I could see myself having 3 or 4 rogues, at 22, and then whatever one ends up with the best loot, right? That's the one I would continue with. So yeah, it eliminates that. It also makes it a little bit like more casual friendly. You're given ample time to like level to the appropriate range, and then you do the dungeons back to back, but it's only a 3 or 4 hour, like I would say, time committal when it comes to doing the dungeons, on the 4 or 5 different weekends. So I think it is one of the unlike a lot of the other tournaments, I think it's open, I think to more people. So, which is nice.
Yeah. I think like the accessibility was the goal there. I'm pretty sure, because there have been previous events where it was like the people who ended up doing the best in the events were the people who were like turbo sweating, and they wanted to like not necessarily avoid that. Like they wanted there to be enough stuff for people to min-max so that those people could still feel fulfilled, but also they wanted to keep it accessible enough so that more people will want to play, because there's people that straight up won't participate if they know that they don't stand a chance because people are turbo sweating. So
right.
Yeah, I think
which
that's
I think
a
is a
really
good call.
good idea. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
as you can see, they put a lot of thought and effort into these events to make them as successful as possible. So that's why we like talking about them, because they put a lot of effort into making sure that we have things to do as a community, and it's super cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And there's other stuff. There's like little side events. I think I'm going to be casting one in the future. Not the world tour, I don't think, but like one of the side events. I haven't gotten a lot of info on it yet. Like I've just gotten added to the staff, so I'm just waiting to see if Lesmos is like, "Hey, Bob, I need you for this." Like, okay.
It's on call color commentary guy.
Yep.
Yeah, because tomorrow there's a Makara. There's a PvP like kind of tournament. So people have had the entire week to level a shaman to level 20, and it's just like bracket style, like 20 shaman versus 20 shaman. It's at the Great Lift. If you die, you have to hurl your character off, with one person left over. So yeah, it feels like every weekend there's 1 or 2 different events, with the world tour being something that just spans over the course of 3 months. So.
Speaking of her, like, dude, that's one of the scariest things in hardcore is like, can I make this jump? And then I'm sure with you as a rogue, like I've made the mistake of thinking I'm a rogue on different characters, and yeah, you take a different fall damage. Or
even being a rogue, at level 30 versus level 41, right? Whether you have safe fall or not. So yeah, thank God I've never died on a rogue. I've come very close, jumping, thinking I'm not going to take any damage. And then, your health bar is almost gone. You're like, oops, I don't have the ability yet.
You're like, oh man. Yeah. I think, what was the one where we were going to, I think it's the Great Lift. What you were talking, no. It was that place in Stone Talon Mountains, Goblin place. It's like
the one where you have to jump off the pillar.
Well, it's like you go all the way up, and there's the
Gorenzo, like
there's a vendor there.
Thing.
Yeah, we went up to the vendor, and then we were like, well, I bet we could jump off of this instead of like fighting our way all the way back down.
Well, you can. You have to land in the water though.
Yeah,
there's a certain angle you have to take, so
we went ahead and went back down the long way.
Right.
The safe way.
Yep. But those types of things, you're like, okay. We did do. I try to think of other jumps we did where we were just like, all right, here goes. And it's just like so much depends on this jump, and the higher level you get, the more you're just like, oh my god. Well, yeah, guys, there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff going on. I encourage you guys to go to that YouTube link. There'll be a link for the hardcore Discord there, the event Discord. You can go and join all the things and get involved and sign up. And it sounds like, they're going to protect you from the super sweaters. So, it's really not about winning, is it? It's about the journey, right?
I mean, for some people it's about winning, but the journey to victory.
Yeah. Well put.
Well, yeah.
So wait, who's on your guys' teams? Tell me about this.
Yeah.
So on my team, I have Cheesy Goodness, Rose Goku, Nova HC, Bradley Hank, and oh my goodness, I forgot someone. All right, someone's gonna be mad at me in Discord.
Yeah, all right.
Dude, what a comp, though.
What classes are you guys playing though?
So we have Druid, Rogue, Mage, Shaman, and I can't. The fifth is still up in the air. We haven't registered yet. We're trying to figure out. You have to plan long term. We're trying to figure out if we want to build our team to be able to make it to the finals, or whether we maybe want to make the journey a little bit more difficult and have the best chance in the final run, because you do get double points for the final circuit. So even if maybe your times aren't the best in the first 4, if you can get your BRD and OBS done. So we've been trying to min-max and think about even what professions would be best, towards the end versus, getting through the dead mines portion of it. So, but those four classes are set in stone.
Okay.
Strong comp, strong players. Sounds like you guys will have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
what about you, Table?
We've got it's myself, Stay a While. We have also got Antidas, who is healing on a priest. Well, I'm playing a druid, so I guess I'll go through the whole thing. I'm playing a druid, feral, but really kind of flex. I'm doing a little bit of everything. Antidas is healing on a priest. Stay a While is tanking on a paladin. We have
Paladin in Classic?
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
We have Death Pain playing a warlock, and we have oh geez, I'm in the same boat. These are the only person of these players that I've actually met before is Death Pain. Hypnotoad. We have Hypnotoad playing a mage.
Okay.
We currently do not have a 6th. We're still looking for a 6th.
Yeah, one interesting thing about it is you're not allowed to double up any classes. So ideally, some sort of like triple mage tank, like healing comp would be best. Yeah, there are a few specific rules which are nice. You're only allowed to have one of each class, and they also limit one. We'll just call it like evade spot per dungeon run. So you can't just cheese the whole thing. So
Right.
You only can do one time use an evade spot or something. So I like these rules. I think it makes it a little bit more fair and more exciting. That you're just not getting just some massive spell cleave like comp. So,
It's one of the things where it's
That
like
is cool.
there's always the argument between like the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law, and like these rules now it's like the spirit of the law is codified into the letter of the law, which is kind of nice because it's like you're always
Right.
gonna have people that are looking to like find loopholes, be like, ooh, how can we gain an advantage? It's like, nah, man, like the point is clear the dungeons fast. Like just be good at the game, clear the dungeons
Right,
fast, and you
right.
win. Like not like, oh, who has the best cheese? Who has the best like random crazy strats?
That's kind of the classic crew. I mean, it's kind of what everybody searches for, and from classic vanilla all the way to Wrath.
right.
Everybody's been looking for their first guilds clearing Ulduar, had like 8 warlocks, so it's like, well, most guilds can't do that, but the classic crew, the community tries to break stuff. So it's good that you guys have rules there. Trying to think of what else. I mean, you could also do. I mean, you could do like all priests, right?
Yeah, oops, all priests.
All priests in a one tank
Tank,
and
right.
just never die.
I was gonna say, priests are good, but I feel like
Well, I mean, wands only. Just do wand damage, and then whoever has mana do the healing.
oh yeah,
Just a rage tank and 4 priests.
I love
Yeah.
all the priests. Wonderful.
That
A
would
lot
be
of
some
wand
cheese.
damage.
It's a good thing that the event is not going to be a question of who has the best cheese, because we already know the answer to that. The answer is Ellingtrius. Ellingtrius has the best cheese.
That is very true. I was trying to track some cheese down on the horde. I was trying to do my cooking quest, and I couldn't find it. But on the lion side, like you already know,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
and get your cheese. So.
That would be the hardest thing about like switching from Alliance to Horde and Hardcore is that like you learn all of the little small things that you need on one side.
Yep,
Yeah,
where to
maybe-
buy certain weapons, everything like that.
Yeah, I made the mistake last night. I hit 48 and I flew to Thunderbluff because it's the closest town to train, and there's no rogue trainer there. So
No.
these are things, obviously, like when you play a faction, like you learn. But I went to go talk to a guard. I'm like, oh, there's no trainer here, and then I ended stream. So I was like, this is a good time to call it.
That was a big pain for us when I was doing the druid and she was the priest. Like there was never a trainer for druids in was it Stormwind?
There is one. He's in the park.
Oh, then it was Ironforge.
Yeah, there isn't one in Ironforge. Yeah,
there's not one in Ironforge, right?
So it'd be like, oh well, I gotta go all the way over here to trade, and like you weren't supposed to spots. Yeah, be in different spots. Like so, like
that's why duos are interesting because you have to work around stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
they have made a change though, a positive change. So within the add-on now, it does allow you to be separated for 10 minutes. Total. Mm-hmm. It gives you like a warning if you're in a different part of the zone. If it's more than 10 minutes, your duo is disqualified. But it would allow you to easily teleport to Moonglade, train, Hearth back, or vice versa, which is nice.
That's cool.
When we did it, I think the rule was you could only go for the specific quests, and so that's the only time I ever did is when I had to for like certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But
so
like
you guys have to
quests and stuff like that for Druid.
Yeah. So you guys have to go. So you guys have to start a character when the event starts, right? You can't have a character already ready to go for.
Yeah.
Correct. So it starts on Monday. So in 2 days is when the leveling begins, and then the first circuit is on March 11th. So you have about 12 days, which that's a ton of time to get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's enough time to get leveled and like do a little bit of like profession stuff, some min maxing on the side and things like that.
Right.
Do a little bit of farming, get fishing leveled, stuff like that.
And there's no restrictions as to what other than just plain hardcore rules. Like there's no restrictions as what else you can do during that time in between the circuits.
There is one extra small rule. It's like if you're going to do any quest that is 5 levels higher than your level at the time that you do the quest, you need to have like a recording of you doing it to prove that you didn't get help from anybody else for doing the quest. Because like there's some really, really powerful quest items because the level cap for the first circuit is 22.5. So like at 22, there are some quest items like quest rewards that are incredibly powerful for that level if you can solo the quest. So it's like if you're going to show up with any of those items, you got to prove that you did it alone.
Yeah, like with Stavend, you can do super early and get the level 35 like sword or stuff like that, like those types of quests.
Yeah, and then Ashenvale, there's some really good shoulders that you can get. You have to kill a level 30 like elemental, and you can get that quest like 2021. So that's another one that so you could do it. So you'd be going into the first circuit with some pretty good gear, but yeah, they're requiring, as he said, to have like video proof. And there's like when you sign up, there's like a link, that you can submit. Same thing for the next circuit. The cap is like 32. But any agi wares, you can kill, I forget what it's called. There's a Yeti on the Horde side, Frostmane or something. You can get like a 10 agi helm, and that's a 37 quest. So once again, if you're going to do that, you have to have proof, which is good because there's money on the line. So, and there's so many people that play hardcore on the server. It'd be very easy to be unscrupulous, right? And just have your buddy heal you and, you complete it. So,
what do you know? Yeah. Somebody that I just happened to be acquainted with is in the area at the same time. Oh, look at that. They're giving me a hand. How nice of them.
Yeah. I had no idea.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You did say it at the start, but it's kind of like to reiterate. You have a team of 6, but you're still supposed to level solo.
Right.
Because if you leveled with 6 people, like you'd have a pretty easy time in hardcore, right?
Yeah, correct. So it's standard hardcore rules. You have to. So even though duos and trios are allowed to level, for the tournament purpose, everyone has to do their journey solo. So yeah,
I like that.
And then also crucially, once you're grouped up for the actual dungeon, no more quests. Like you're done with quests. The only quests you're allowed to do once you're actually grouped up are like the dungeon quests, and that's it. So like once you're already grouped up or whatever, like once the circuit begins, that's all you're doing is just the dungeons, and any dungeon or any quests that you do after the circuit begins have to be dungeon quests. You can't be like, you can't like stack a quest log full of quests and then once the circuit begins, you do dead mines, then you turn in your whole quest log and get to level 25 before Wailing Caverns. Like none of that.
Right.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Mel, do you have any more questions on the event?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Well, that's gonna conclude the news, and we're gonna let TableSlam go before we jump into the interview. So, Table, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you?
Well, wait, one more question. Sorry. You guys mentioned, like, what is the prize for winning?
Money. There's I can't remember the exact amount for the actual like the world tour, but the solo events have been $500 or the cup events have been $500 prize pool, so it's like split 5 ways for the team.
Yeah, I think it's 2,500, I believe, for the world tour.
For the world tour, okay.
Yeah.
But either way, it is a cash prize, so it's like there's people that would be competing regardless, like whether or not there was money involved. But you know, it's the actual the entire thing is like in partnership with Blizzard. Like there's like, you know, we're getting.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Blizzard was.
Yep.
Yeah, Blizzard has acknowledged us. Notice me sent by Blizzard.
And I can't tell you specifics, but I believe there might be other goodies being given out to from Blizzard, but I don't know.
Is it all on one server, or are you guys? It doesn't matter what server you're on.
It's all on one server.
You have to. So for EU, it's a Hydraxian Waterlords, and on NA, it's Bloodcell Buccaneers.
Yep, the Era server specifically. Unfortunately, Sam is done. The Enter World button has been disabled, so no more Sam stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good old blood sale.
But you can be Alliance or Horde on either server.
Yep, exactly.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. That's all.
Oh, it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, I always forget about Classic that you can't have Shammies or Paladins on the two different factions.
Right.
It's very
It'll be interesting to see how it stacks up, especially towards the end. Because like when you start getting into like the later circuits and stuff like that, like totems or blessings could make a pretty huge difference in some of those runs.
Yeah, I think so for sure.
I think it's funny how your two teams are like flopped. Nom's a Alliance Andy, you're a Horde Andy, and now you guys are flopping for the hardcore event. I think that's great.
Yeah, everyone on my team is just Zug for life, so I'm the I'm the odd man out. But I mean, I've completed the challenge like 4 times on the Horde, so I'm familiar enough with the Horde side, you know, to roll with the boys over there. So
yeah, I think
it's still a fun dynamic though. Like I can just imagine like what voice chat's going to be like in the dungeons, like just the constant ribbing, even though like legit, like you have probably more Horde experience than some Horde Andys that play hardcore, even though you normally play Alliance. And it's just funny that's probably how it's going to go down.
That's
the comms will be very interesting in our group for sure during the circuit runs.
Oh gosh.
All right, well, Table, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you? We'll let you get back to practicing.
Yeah, sure. On YouTube, it's just youtube.com/@TableSlam, all one word. And I post a lot of Wrath content there. I'm a Feral Druid Andy in Wrath, so I post a lot of Feral stuff. And I've recently been posting some hardcore stuff to there too. I do some cave survival guides that I've been posting to YouTube as well, because I have a couple of my hardcore characters I'm leveling in caves only, so I'm releasing cave guides for all the different caves that people hit on their leveling journey to hopefully prevent people from dying in caves as often, because we all know how dangerous caves are. And then on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/table_slam. And I stream pretty much, I used to just be hardcore content that I streamed on Twitch, but now I've been streaming some rat stuff there too. Been doing some multi-streaming, some simultaneous YouTube and Twitch stuff. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Yeah, you've been growing. It's crazy. For anybody that wants to start streaming, hardcore is a great place to start streaming. It's what got me comfortable with streaming pretty much all of the time now. Like I've been an affiliate for years and years, like back when I played Overwatch, but like I just didn't stream all that much. And then hardcore, I really wanted a record, so I started to stream, and people just started showing up. And then especially in hardcore, chat is just a cheat, man. Like I learned so much from people in chat. They're like, well, just go to the guy in there. You can get a sword. And I was like, I never thought about buying a sword from a vendor. Oh, this is amazing. Okay. And there's just like so many different things, like skips, like, they'll warn you. They're like, dude, tons of people die here. It's a really cool thing for like smaller streamers like me. Like it just like really, it was really neat. I mean, so if you're ever thinking about starting to stream, Hardcore is a great place to start. So
I'm definitely one of those people though. Like I'll lurk people's streams and then I can just like tab back and forth while I'm doing other stuff. And then as soon as I see somebody in a cave, I'm in chat like there's an evade spot right there.
Don't do it.
Yep. Yeah. It's super nice. All right. Well, Table, we'll let you go and thank you for coming on and chatting with us.
Always a pleasure. Good to actually meet you in not really in person, but I've chilled in your chat before, Nam. So it's cool to have shared the stage with you for a little bit here.
Yeah, for sure, man. It was nice hanging out with you.
I think Mel, always a pleasure.
Take it easy, brother.
Chill.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you, man. Peace.
All right. And then I should be able to switch it over here. There we go. And I think this is going to work. Okay. Yeah. Everything's still set. Good. Okay. Worked.
Oh,
all right.
Professional streaming there. Nice work.
Let's move into...
Bobby, we need to have a talk about this World of Warcraft Classic. Do I look like I know what a WoW token is?
All right. This week's discussion is getting to know Nam. Just like everybody we have on the show, we like to get to know them. And that's something unique that we do. So we're going to jump right in, Nam. With your WoW background, like when did you start playing actual World of Warcraft, like back in the day, or did you?
Yeah, so I was working at GameStop, and I was playing with the current MMOs of the time. So Anarchy Online, Dark Age of Camelot, Asheron's Call, EverQuest.
Dark Age of Camelot. Oh, I loved that.
And so I never was a Blizzard like fan. Like I never played Diablo or any of the regular Warcraft, StarCraft. I knew about them, but World of Warcraft, there was a beta that was out. So we had, as employees of the store, we got them, and I just was hooked. It was just that simple. My first character ever created was an undead rogue. Funny enough, even though I'm an Alliance Andy, I loved it. I got to Undercity. I died on the elevator.
as you do.
Right. And then I couldn't figure out how to get back to my body. So I actually quit the beta. And then on the final day, my buddy's like, you should give it another chance. I created a human rogue. And the second I walked into Stormwind and heard, that glorious chorus, I was sold. And,
Well, and it's kind of unfair because that is the best starting area, human right there. Yeah. Like it is the best. It's the one they worked on the most. I think Kevin Jordan said that when he was on an interview on, I think, Good Morning Azeroth, back when Cargos used to do that.
I remember watching that one. Yeah. He said, the amount of time they put into that starting area was about the amount combined with everything else. Yeah. They put, and you can tell the quests are perfectly fleshed out. Even the location of the vendors, just how everything flows, just even how close it is to get to the starting town, and just how everything melds together so perfectly.
Yeah. I'm just happy. Like I always, like, people make fun of me, but I always play human in Skyrim. Whatever I play, if I could play human, I play human, and that's just. I like human, and sorry, I play a fantasy game where I want to pretend that I'm me. That's just, so I play human male every time.
Right.
So, you do you, I'll do me. I don't make fun of you. Like, so, yeah, but just like, it was so amazing. And anytime working up any other characters, been like, this is definitely not as good. I always just go to Westfall though too. So
Yeah, the game's completely different when you do hardcore. Westfall used to always be like one of the first zones I was excited to get to, but it's really dangerous in hardcore. Like mobs net you, backstab. You know, you have like mechanical mobs that can kill you. The dust devils going around. The pillagers are just career enders. Benny Blanco. Like the whole damn zone is dangerous. So you definitely approach the game a little bit different when you're playing hardcore.
Especially even griefers using the gnomish whatever mind control thing on the mechanical units there, like, can get you real bad.
Yeah, so I've been killed only twice, funny enough, by griefers, you know, and I've pretty much exclusively only played hardcore for 3 years now. But my first griefer death was, to those mechanical mobs. Yeah, I was fighting one, and then all of a sudden it turned hostile. And then obviously as soon as I auto attacked, you know, that was it. And I got killed. But, you know, we have a system that, you know, allows us to continue. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, okay. So you played that. Like, how long did you play for? Did you ever raid or anything, like, in any expansions? Like, kind of take us through.
Yeah, so my first tune was a female Night Elf Hunter. I was, I think, the third on my server. I got my Lockdalar. So I was, you know, I raided and, you know, I loved it. At some point, I think towards the end of BWL, playing Hunter fell off. So I created a rogue alt. And just between the world PvP and just, you know, I just fell in love with rogue. I cleared Nex and vanilla. So there was only maybe 4 or 5 guilds on my server that did that. I raided through TBC. And then funny enough, I quit when Old War came out.
Interesting.
I took 10 years off. Yeah, so it's it's a long story, but we'll keep it short. I got a buddy of mine to play the game with me, and they introduced a lot of things in Wrath that I didn't like. They introduced the phasing. So I remember I was trying to help him. I can't remember. I think it was an Ice Crown. And it was one of those areas where if you completed the quest, like the town was saved, but before the town was like burning. And he wanted me to help him, and like I couldn't do anything. And it was so frustrating. He's like, so we're playing this game together, but we're not playing this game together. And I took like a little offense to it, but then I like started to think about it, and it was very non-immersive. Like I'm trying to bring my real life friend into the game, and I can't like help him, and I can't play with him.
Yeah, it's even worse. We recently tried out Dragonflight, me and her, and it's so weird because she like walked off. I was waiting for her to do an escort quest, and she walked off, and I was like, babe, what are you doing? We're going to do this quest. She's like, I'm on it. I'm following. And I didn't see her, like her person. We're in a group supposed to be syncing quests. So I start my own, and then we're just like, I'm like, we're playing together, but not together. And yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, the phasing thing too, because that happened to me in Wrath also. And it's a really neat thing. But it really screws up for helping somebody through stuff like later on. And it's cool, but not cool at the same time because of that.
Yeah, for me, it probably hit worse than for others, but it broke the immersion, you know, because when you're playing Classic, Azeroth is the main protagonist. You have 40 zones and everything is just, there's just things that can kill you and everything. There's things that are like special and unique. So the world is so important. And then when you basically, you know, kind of take that away a bit, like there's definitely more instances, more phasing, you know, in Wrath. I know a lot of people like enjoy it, but for me, it was kind of the beginning of the end, like with my World of Warcraft journey. The last thing that changed it for me, I know this sounds crazy, I hate the vehicles. Like I just, I
went
10,000 hours into my character, right, for the gear and everything, and then you know you hop on a dragon that has 3 buttons, and I don't get to do anything. And I just, once again, it was like it broke the immersion. Like I wanted to play my rogue, I wanted to use Killing Spree, I wanted to use all my cool abilities. So I think those two things combined, that's what made me, you know, take a break.
They have too many vehicle things, man. Like in Wrath, one thing that's nice, if you use rested XP code reloaded at checkout, they do a nice thing where they're like, okay, do 1, spam 1, do 3 when it does this, do 2 when it does this. You just read that and you're like, okay, all right, I'll just get through this. But I am not a fan of the vehicle stuff.
Well, I feel like they made a vehicle quest and they're like, this is really cool. And then they just like put it into way too many things, right? Like if you had done it like once or twice or 3 times, like it would have been really cool, right?
Right. Exactly,
but like the 10th one you get to, you're like, okay, seriously? Like I'm done.
Yeah, in Borean Tundra alone, I think there's like 7 or 8 different, know, it's like, as I said, if it was one, it'd be like, oh, this is a cool new dynamic, this is something, like kind of mixing it up. But then it just gets to a point, it's like, dude, another one? And you get to the point that where you see an elite mob and you're not sure if you're supposed to be able to kill it by yourself or if there's some vehicle where you hit 427, 322 real quick and then it dies, right? So
right.
It's very
like you're supposed to be jousting.
Yep.
Oh,
right.
Exactly
the story
that you
guys talked about earlier, right?
Yep. Yeah. And what's funny is we did do some of the quests where you were supposed to use a vehicle or an item, but since I was a tank and she was a healer, we were just able to do so many of the things without
that's awesome.
Without vehicles. And then we realized later on, like when I worked up my solo account, I was like, oh, that's why this is so hard. Okay.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's kind of a bummer. But okay, so why'd you come back for Classic?
So I left during Old War. Obviously, I guess it was maybe almost 10 years off. I kind of didn't even really follow WoW too much. I was watching a football game, and I saw an advertisement for come back to Azeroth, and I was like, what? And I remember, I like went online and the Classic came back and that was it. I mean, that was
wow.
it. I found, I started going on YouTube, just like looking up all kinds of videos, I like Melderon and, I found Cargos.
Melderon.
And just, I was just soaking all that up. And then, here we are.
That was the end.
Yeah. He was our.
So you never played private servers or anything? Did you ever play private servers or anything?
Oh, I never played private servers. Yeah, when I left in Old War, I sold my account to a real life friend, and I just I was done. For almost a decade, I guess, till I came back.
Yeah, I'm not proud of it, but I did sell my first vanilla account, but my TBC account is still the account that I use to this day. So I didn't actually sell when I left World of Warcraft in early Cataclysm, but then I did come back for 15 minutes in MOP when they did the recruit a friend thing. I logged in, was a little lost, and then looked at the talents and how they had changed them, and they were so just robotic. I was just like, okay, no, I just logged out and never logged back in until Classic.
Yeah, my buddy was playing, I don't remember what it was, Battle for Azeroth or something, and I asked to see the rogue talents, and there was like a row with 3 things. He's like, oh, you have to pick something every 15 levels. And I was like, what? And then that was it.
Yep. And then I guess like it was a big thing in MOP because you could like take an item that would allow you to like respec. So like lots of the guilds were having you change specs every fight and stuff like that. And I was just like, like I'm already annoyed with changing glyphs and wrath constantly to parse on different fights and stuff. But it's interesting because we found out about Classic. We were there when they announced it at BlizzCon. We were there covering the
awesome.
Overwatch League because we used to do a podcast on that. So we were doing media for that, and it popped on, and I was like, I'm going to go check that out.
I was like, I'm not.
Yeah, and I figured I'd play to like maybe 40, get them out, nostalgia. It was pretty early on that I realized, oh, I want to do this all over again. We only killed 4 bosses in Nax back in the day before our guild. Like we just kept losing people, having to gear up new people, and and TBC was right around the corner. So our guild just gave up. We didn't look for a new guild. So I was like, I want to do Nax, and so I got talked into it, and then all of a sudden by AQ, I created a podcast. And like, so I had no idea I was going to be so into it. Did you have an idea that you were going to be this into it?
No, same as you. I was excited to log back in, go to Elwyn Forest, run Dead Mines. I didn't think I would get, much further. I said that maybe getting a mount. I didn't think I would get to 60. I never thought I would do the, I did like the PvP grind, to rank and everything. I didn't think I was going to do any of that stuff. But yeah, I got hooked almost immediately. Like it. That's just
awesome.
Just everything, man. Everything about Azeroth is, it's something special.
Yeah, it was crazy for me, and I think it hit at the right time, just because of the pandemic. I think a lot of people got hooked back in because of that.
Yeah, I mean, no, for sure.
I don't want to say right time, but I'm just saying like that probably led into a lot of people getting more into it and staying with it.
Well, when you're stuck in the house and the outside world is so dangerous, it was comfortable to be back like in an MMO, with sharing, those same experiences with people, for sure.
So, I can't leave the house. Okay.
So I want to I want to know about streaming and I want to know about hardcore, but which came first? Streaming or hardcore?
They were simultaneous, actually. So when I came back for Classic, I was in a PvP server. I did like the ranking grind. I wanted to make an alt, so I made it an alt priest, and I got to the late 30s. And I couldn't find a team for anything. The whole AoE cleave meta was the only thing going on with boosting and all that stuff. And I got so frustrated, I actually quit WoW for about 12 hours. I remember I called my girlfriend at work. I said, I'm kind of done, with WoW. And she's like, really? I was like, yeah, So somehow I go into YouTube, and the YouTube algorithm had a Cargos video, and I had followed Cargos from before Classic came out, looking up, and he had this video for the hardcore challenge. So I watched the video, and I clicked into his channel, and he was on his very first hardcore tune, Iron Lad. Oh wow! And he's in Duskwood, he's fighting one life, and he goes to fight Stalvin, and he dies, and I see him delete his character. I'm like, man, I want to do that. So my girlfriend gets home and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I'm going to create a character. I'm going to try to level to 60 without dying. And she's like, okay, so you're going to play the game again. And so then.
Because actually a different game though. So, right. I really did. I quit really, but.
Right. Yeah. So it lasted, basically through her lunch break. So originally when the hardcore was around, this was before we had this robust add-on and everything, you had to stream or record everything you did. So I started streaming to YouTube, right? Just basically to my, to myself, to no viewers. I created a Twitch account. And as with a lot of people, you stream hardcore, you have a few people in the community come by, but the community used to be really small. I averaged maybe, I don't know, 1 or 2 viewers. And I got crazy lucky one day. I got a raid of 2,500 people.
Oh, wow.
From a big streamer. They just were looking for someone that only had one person watching. Right. I was able to retain 300 or 400 people for 3 or 4 hours. So I went, I got affiliate basically in one day, right? Because you have to average, a set amount. Yep. And then, I've just kind of grown since, I hit partner on Twitch, maybe a year and a half ago. And so, yeah, so the streaming and hardcore basically hand in hand. And that's pretty much all I stream is hardcore content.
What were your feelings with 1 to 2 viewers and then getting 2,500 people in? Were you just like, okay?
Well, yeah, it was a funny story. I was on the phone with my girlfriend, and so my stream was muted. When you're only streaming to one person, you're not used to anyone being in there anyway, right? So then if anyone chatted,
probably lurking anyways.
I wish I had the clip, but I looked over at my chat. and it just people were spamming emotes. The whole thing was going crazy. I kept looking over. I thought it was in someone else's chat. I didn't. And then people were typing, he doesn't realize this is real, you know, and I'm just like sitting here. And then I was like, babe, I got to go. And then I was like, I turned the mic back on and I was like, I was like, I didn't know what to do because, I don't think I ever had more than 2 people talking at once. Right. And for anyone that streams on Twitch, you have like these different like achievements, and I got the achievement for 200 people talking at once.
Oh my God.
Which is nice because things like that unlock like more VIP slots and stuff like that. But I got that on, like when I was
day one of
exactly. I unlocked like 20 achievements on Twitch at once from this.
Oh my God.
This one raid. But I did pretty good. I was a kind of a natural. I didn't think that it would be able to handle it well, but I had worked retail and upper management, so I'd managed like hundreds of store managers and people, so I was used to talking. But yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking. Because I didn't know what to do because I'm used to talking to one person. I have 100 people asking me questions, and I'm trying not to die. Right? Yep.
So, I can't focus on you guys right now.
Right. I think I stood still in game for like an hour and a half. I didn't do anything. I was just like standing stealth in front of the ogres and STV. They're like the level 42 ogres. And someone was like, "Are you going to do anything?" And I was like, I don't really know what to do right now. But I'm
like, I have to play too, man.
Man, yeah, I think the biggest raid I've ever gotten was like 900 people from my friend Thrill. He does Thrill Seeker VR. It's one of the biggest YouTube VR guys. He like raided me once. I was like, oh gosh. But I still get nervous when I get raided by anybody. I'm like, oh hey, stay, hang around. I don't know what to say right now. I'm in the middle of this boss. But
right.
Yeah, raiding is cool. But it definitely, you're just like, oh, it always seems, everybody always raids everybody like when they're about to get off. They're like, oh, I'm about to get off.
It happened to me. Yeah, it happened to me 2 nights ago. I was going to raid the person that raided me. Yeah.
That's great.
So I had him up, and then I saw in his scream, it's like, oh, sending 42 raiders and nomnomhc. I was like, oh man, yeah, it's definitely.
All right,
it's like, okay, we're going to send those 42 and our current viewers.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Let's talk about hardcore, because you're one of if not, have you done the most hardcore characters to 60? I think you might be the rating leader.
Yeah, so I've finished the challenge 23 times. So yeah, definitely, more than anyone else. Yeah, I've died a lot too. I've died in my 50s like 7 or 8 times. So there's been a lot of success, and there's been a decent amount of failures as well. But
it wouldn't be as fun if you hadn't died,
Yeah, exactly. I think my chat secretly is rooting for me to die from time to time. Because they're like, oh, when's the last time you died? I'm like, a few months ago. And then like you see them pushing me towards doing the harder quests. Oh, don't use a UI, Nom, you'll be okay. So, but I mean, that is the hook though of hardcore. Like, it's what makes it interesting that you're level 17 killing some Defias, in Westfall. It's the chance that this character could die. I mean, that single-handedly is the hook, because everything is important. So when you're watching someone, even if they're crafting, some potions, like that could be the difference between living and dying. So it gives value, to every second of the journey. And I think that's what makes like hardcore so enjoyable to watch for people that enjoy the game mode.
Sure.
Yeah. So what all classes have you done? Like, give us a breakdown of, because you've done a lot of rogues.
Yeah, rogue is my main. I've done 6 rogues. We're doing our first horde rogue now. Besides that, the 2 classes I've completed the most on, I've done a hunter 4 times, and I've done a priest 4 times, and then all the other classes, just a few times each. So,
oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Any other hordes besides this one you're doing now?
I did a naked druid to 60. So no weapons, no armor, no trinkets, anything. I did the Tauren druid to 60. That was one of the most fun journeys that I had. The horde racials are so good. like having
Really?
war stomp. Yeah, I could never play Night Elf Druid like in hardcore. It's not even comparable. Like, have like war stomp. So I did a Tauren shaman to 60 as well, and then I just recently did a troll priest to 60, and that was amazing because you got Shadow Guard, which is the like the troll racial. It went perfect, right, with going Shadow Spec. So yeah.
Did you? I saw you doing something. You were doing a Blood Elf, I think, in TBC, like for a short time. Did you ever complete a 70 in TBC?
I did. I did a rogue to 70, and then I did a duo. I was a rogue, and my duo partner, she was a warlock. So I did a duo to 70. I had a Blood Elf priest. I got to 65. I was ending my stream, and I was trying to find someone to host. And I went to host Grays for Days, but I kind of got, when you go to host someone, you kind of see like what they're doing, what they're up to. Mm-hmm. So I'm like watching his stream, and I auto ran into Illyrian Stronghold, being, an Alliance Andy. And I I got insta clapped, and then so I lost my 65 Blood Elf priest.
Oh no.
So, but I did do the TBC. I really enjoyed TBC, but there's just something special about vanilla. Yeah, so I did 3 or 4 attempts. I died on like a 56 mage. I died on that priest, and then I finished the challenge like on the rogue and duo rogue. And then I did 1 attempt on Wrath Hardcore. I got to 71 on a warrior, and I jumped off Stormspire and died. I moved the position of my flying mount and ground mount, and I just wasn't paying attention. No. I mounted on my ground mount. I'm like talking to chat, and I like auto ran off, hit spacebar, thinking I would elevate, and I just yeeted myself off.
Oh no!
I never went back to Wrath Hardcore after that. That was my one and only attempt.
Geronimo. Well, it seems like TBC, like they made it's just a lot easier. It seems like with all the changes to itemization in the dungeon loot and everything else, and getting more stats, getting more hit rating on different things. Like,
right.
It seems to make it a lot easier. And the talents changed that make you stronger. Like Warrior was probably a lot easier working up in Wrath than it would have been in Vanilla.
Yeah. So Warrior definitely was like the class that took me the longest. So I died on maybe 10 warriors. So I died in the 50s 3 times before I hit 60. But my Wrath Warrior, you just shield block revenge. Like, it was just crazy. Pulling 20, 30 mobs. It was like you're playing an arcade game, right? I'm like, using my controller up, down, left, right. I'm like using my Contra cheat code here to play hardcore.
You're like, can I die?
Up, down, left, right, A, B, A, select start if you play with 2 people.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Oh man, never forget that.
Yeah, so it was fun. It just didn't feel hardcore. I mean, it was fun though, right? And that counts for something, right? If something's fun, but yeah, it definitely didn't have the same feel or challenge as playing in vanilla. So
yeah, that like your heart racing, and I remember when Bobby and I were trying to get to 60 first, it was just, there were so many moments where it was like, should we do this? And it was like, no, we just, no, we're like, once you get to that like 45, 50 range, you're just like, okay, now if I die, this is like really intense, right? I've put a lot of time into this.
Well, and you get certain things throughout. Like I remember when we died on those druids at 35, I had the swiftness potion recipe,
wow,
which is huge. And then I didn't get it on the next one, like it was just like, well, this sucks, like, so like, and then like,
we also had our elves.
One of my rogues had the Kroll blade. No other rogue got it after that. Yeah.
You got a Kroll blade in hardcore?
No, sorry, not Kroll blade. Oh my God, I'm an idiot. What's it called? The barbed slicer, the one from Dead Mines.
Cruel Barb.
Cruel Barb, yeah. I had
which I've never got on all my tunes.
Really?
I've never got a Cruel Barb. Yeah,
I've only gotten on one. That weapon
is so good. Like, it lasts like almost into your like early 30s. Otherwise you're using like a white vendor weapon and stuff.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, you and I met in Dead Mines.
I think I was there too.
Yeah.
No, you weren't there. It was my rogue.
Yeah, we did a dungeon together.
Yeah,
Right.
we did it, and it was hilarious because I was so new to streaming. I like felt the need to like let people know because I felt it was a breach of their privacy or something. Like if I was streaming and didn't tell them, so I told people, and then Nam's like, "Yeah, I stream too. I'm not streaming now, but I stream too." And I went and looked. I was like, "Oh yeah, you do stream? Okay." I was just like, I was just cracked. It cracked me up. Now I don't tell people. Maybe if it's a good run, I'll tell people, "Hey, check out Warcraft Reloaded after," but I don't tell people that I'm streaming.
Yeah, I don't tell people I'm streaming either. Although I'm pretty lucky. A lot of times, like my groups form in my Twitch chat, so
Right.
which is good too because you tend to get some of the loot prio. So yeah, there's definitely
That is
Right.
definitely nice. But yeah, we did the Dead Mines, and I told Wiki that I met you, and he was like, "Nam was supposed to be doing Dead Mines with me." I was like, well,
because I was, I don't play off stream like often, but yeah, I remember I had logged on and I just wasn't feeling up for streaming, and then the group came together and I was like, let me see if I can slide this in, and Winky hit me up and tells you, what's up with this Dead Mines run, and I'm like, I already ran it, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that was a good
Here's
run.
lose, Winky.
That was, I believe that was the one that died at 35, I think. It was either the 35 or 29 one.
Yeah, I remember checking in on you and like soon after, and you had repped, F in the
Wake
chat.
up. No more.
Yeah, it was a bummer. Oh, man. So we got Alliances, definitely your favorite. We got kind of why you were drawn to hardcore. Let's talk about stream. Like, how often do you stream?
I stream about 6 days a week. I normally stream, I guess in the morning on East Coast. I stream from about 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern. And I have 2 kids, so they take up a good portion of my day, obviously after 2 o'clock. And then I do stream in the evening sometimes. The evening streams are the bonus streams, but I stream pretty much every day during the week and usually, once on the weekend. So
yeah, it's kind of nice because usually your stream is like oftentimes when I'm going to stream earlier in the day, it's like my morning coffee. I come in there, chat with you a bit, and then I go start streaming. So, but I'd seen you like a few times recently streaming at night, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know you streamed at night.
I just got the hardcore bug again. That's it. Normally in the evenings after the kids like get to bed, just whatever, watch YouTube, Netflix, just like rewind. But I'm just like, you know what? Let me pop this. So, and it's nice too because a lot of people only can watch you during the day, right? Like they may watch at work. They have a just busy life schedule, and then other people it's the other way around. The only free time they have to be on Twitch and stuff is in the evening. So it's nice to have like 2 different sets of people to hang out and chat. So
For sure.
Yeah, I always get to catch like the Warcraft Reloaded listeners from like Sweden and Norway and stuff like during the daytime, and they're like, oh, hey, you're on, great, when they're definitely not on my late night streams because it's like in the middle of the night. Yep.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so do you stream any other games?
I have never streamed anything else but World of Warcraft. I did. I was streaming like the PvP and some of the raiding. I did a little bit when TBC came out. I don't know if I would say I'm afraid to stream anything else. I'm just so like World of Warcraft's my favorite game. I'm pretty good at it. I'm comfortable while I'm streaming it. I think I will on Tuesdays because of server maintenance. I think I'm going to start doing, we'll just call it like variety streams, maybe Valheim or just something a little bit different because the maintenance is right in the middle of my stream. So a lot of times I won't even stream on Tuesday because, if I get started at 8 o'clock, servers are down for a few hours and, I got to leave to pick up the kids, at school at 2. So, but yeah, I haven't currently streamed anything else, but I'm thinking about maybe once a week, mixing it up. And it's definitely makes me a little bit nervous And I don't get nervous like when I stream, but the thought of streaming something different, and then even just having to answer the questions like, oh, what's up, why are you streaming this, like that's a very like that's a, I don't know, it's a question it's gonna be hard to come to grips with, but I'm excited to try something new.
Yeah, I think
for sure.
WoW just is a much easier WoW, and same with Hearthstone. I think it's just an easy games to stream. Like, I have trouble talking to chat like while I'm doing prog, like raiding and stuff like that. But that's just part of it. But like, yeah, other games like streaming Overwatch, I never liked because I couldn't pay attention to chat. Like I'm here, making calls, like it's going fast, hard, hardcore.
The pace of it. Yeah, you really don't have a lot of time to look over because everything, you could die in an instance. So.
Yep. So I pretty much don't stream anything else. I did when servers were going down randomly and stuff during the Wrath launch, because like I had to get up every day and like log in or else there were queues, right? So I tried like some of the React content and I was like, I don't like this. It's just like, have you ever done any of that? Any React stuff?
So I've done the React stuff for anything that's like in the hardcore, just the general WoW stuff, whether it's like death clips or even like going through like patch notes changes, like if it like infecting hardcore. But yeah, it definitely takes a lot more skill to be able to do that and be entertaining at the same time. Because while watching the death clips, it's a little bit easier because I'm pretty good at playing hardcore and I'm familiar with all the zones, all the mobs, stuff like that. But if I was watching something I didn't completely know, I feel like I would just watch it and just bob my head a lot. I don't know.
That's what I end up doing.
So it's very awkward because you want to be entertaining. But you don't want to feel stupid at the same time. And so that's a little scary. I think I might just leave that to the big boys.
I'll listen to podcasts sometimes, which I like, because then I'll chime in with what I would say in this situation and stuff like that, which is something I do a lot. So, that's pretty easy for me. But the videos and stuff, I would, end up just being like, on my head. It'd be like,
I'll be like, who are you talking to, Bob? And he's like, no one, I'm listening to a podcast. And I was like, you're not on that podcast, right? Like, this is not
she's talking about talking about in the car and stuff when I'm not streaming. Like, I'll talk back to the podcast. Yeah.
Well, see, that's practice for, when you do React content. So
true. All right. Well, so a typical stream, is it just you doing whatever character you're on at the time?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, what's nice is that like I have a really like great community. So we talk about, hardcore, WoW, just random, random things, food, movies,
music.
Music. Yeah, it's really nice. Hardcore it's nice because you can, do some spicy content, right? Where the viewers can like watch the gameplay. And then there's a lot of downtime in Classic just between crafting and fight pass and stuff like that. And then that's a nice time to just talk and hang out. So I think hardcore is like the perfect medium, like for me, for streaming, because, I can showcase, good gameplay and then also just be able to talk to people and just like kind of be myself and, cultivate relationships. So, yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely more opportunities to, kind of entertains you during that time that's kind of boring, but has to get done,
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's sometimes rough streaming, like even the hardcore dungeons, because there's a level of respect you need to have for your teammates where you're like paying attention to what's going on, but then you're not really being able to pay attention to your chat much. And I don't stop talking. So it's kind of hard for me to not be interacting, while I'm in a dungeon. But I feel like some people just like want to watch, the gameplay, and they're like, "No, it's okay if you're not talking. That you can shut up every once in a while." So
I think Salve Dally told me some of the coolest advice. He was like, when you start streaming, just think out loud. Like whatever's going on in your head, just say it. I was like, oh, it's not a bad call. It's not a bad call.
Well, because a lot of people they have you on in the background, right? They have you on another monitor, whether working or playing the game, and yeah, they just want to listen. You know, it doesn't even matter what you're saying. They just kind of want that, constant. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'll have a bunch of lurkers, and I'll try to like say something controversial or something like to
bring them out,
draw them out, and it's crazy. It works a lot of times. They're like, no, that's not how that works. It's like, oh, there you are. Oh man, so yeah, So you don't stream any other games, but you're thinking about starting to do it during patch time. Is there anything else you'd like to kind of talk about before we go? Like anything you just want to bring up about the game or anything?
Yeah, I mean, just for anyone who hasn't tried Hardcore, it's an amazing way to play World of Warcraft. You were talking earlier about, you've never, realized there was weapons at a vendor. If you like RPGs, if you play Hardcore WoW, it is like playing an old school Final Fantasy or something like that. Like every little thing in the game matters. You approach all your quests differently, little vendors and stuff like that. And the community is amazing. And even if you don't think you like leveling, I would give it a shot. Yeah, the community is growing, and it's just another amazing way to kind of enjoy this game that we all love. So.
It's the nicest community I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
Right?
Every dungeon group is so nice.
There's the WoW community, and then there's the really nice hardcore WoW community.
Right. Yeah, no, it's great. And then as you said before, like anyone that wants to get started with streaming, unlike I guess almost any place, even like on Twitch, like if you start a hardcore run, you post your stream like in the Discord, people will come in. People are always like looking to meet new people. I've met a ton of great people on their first, second day streaming, and we all try to like host each other. So
yeah, it's really nice.
I usually always try to host, whatever you want to call it, host down. It's like it's fun to give someone 100 viewers. And yeah, so it's really is, the community is growing, right? So it's not a perfect, wholesome community, but I think within the Twitch, hardcore, viewers and stuff like that, it's great. So.
Yeah, sure. And yeah, I think that's what a lot of hardcore people do, is try to like host the smaller streams and everything. It's pretty cool. And like you said, like
really
everything matters.
Mean to do, right? Like they're really just trying to get you to die, where it's like, here's 100 viewers while you're doing something really intense.
Yeah, I may or may not know that my kill count is 14.
Oh man. Yeah, well, I mean,
but you'll blurb that out of the thing. I'm really not keeping count. When I say I'm just lurking, I got a recording on the side. I'm going to release my YouTube montage. 5 years of killing hardcore streamers.
Num streams you.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Oh man.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it. Unless you got anything else, Mel.
No, I'm good. It was fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it was great, guys.
It makes me miss hardcore.
Yeah, it really is. I didn't like leveling, and now I actually like leveling even in the like regular game, regular leveling, because of hardcore. Hardcore just really brought out my love for leveling. It's crazy because I hated it before. Like I would have preferred to just sit in a dungeon, get like my alts boosted right, while I watched Netflix over here, and like it changed everything. But I think also streaming changed everything, because it's so, leveling was always, unless I did it with Mel, was always so lonely. And now like so many people keep you company. Like it really changes a lot of stuff in the game doing that. And I don't know. I think it's cool. I think anybody who hasn't tried it should try it. We tried to talk Simon Eyes into doing it. The Wrath Rogue Guru, he was on last week, and he's like, I don't think I'd like it.
Yeah, it's so most of the people I follow on Twitch are hardcore streamers, but Simon Eyes is one of the few that does like Wrath content. Yeah, he's a great, like, rogue. I like his YouTube. You know, he's very like, analytical and methodical with everything.
His
So,
brain, I'm just like, what is happening in there?
yeah, no, exactly. I love how when he's rating, he's like telling you in advance. He's like, all right, I'm gonna take these 5 combo points. I'm gonna do this. Like, I love it. So
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's good people. Yeah,
It's a different level.
yeah.
Yep. So, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping it up. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded. You can follow the Mash Those Buttons Network at the Mash Network. If you want to send us an email, you can do so by sending it to wcrpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to join the Mash Discord, it's mash.gg/Discord. That's for all of the shows on the Mash Network. How can you up the podcast? You can tell people about the podcast in your guild, in whatever Discords you're in. You can post us on Reddit, just, whatever you want to do. You can help us grow on YouTube. It's very hard to grow podcasts on YouTube, so you can help us there with a like, subscribe, hit that bell, whatever you do, leave a comment. You can leave us stars on Spotify. You can leave reviews or stars on iTunes, and just spread the word. That's the best way to help us. And then you can also help us on the Patreon, and that's patreon.com/Warcraft Reloaded or warcraftreloaded.com/Patreon. And then you can buy a guide from Rested XP. I hate this part. All right. That's it. All right, Mel, where can we find you?
Nowhere. You can find me on in-game Mel Arena.
All right. And Nam, where all can we find you?
You can find me on Twitch almost daily. Twitch.tv/nomnomhc.
Yep. Check him out. He's a good time. Ask him all kinds of questions while, trying to help kill him. I'm kidding. And you can find me on Twitter at blazin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. You can find me streaming on the same channel this show is live on, and that's Blazin' Bob on Twitch. All right, guys, let's get out of here.
Hey.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, guys.
See ya.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much for checking out Warcraft Reloaded podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any future content.